things that you look out for in terms of, let's say, for junior, even a senior engineer, that joins a company, what should they focus on in terms of technical and non-technical skills?
I mean, there's a lot to look for. I think one of the most common things that we always look for is curiosity. It's probably one of the strongest indicators of how good someone's going to be. How curious are they? What's their desire to learn? Like how when you ask someone technical or non-technical and you dig one level deeper or two levels deeper and you figure out how much they really know and how curious were they about something, or did they go the extra mile, right? I think that's really important. There's a saying where a teacher teaching computer engineering knew like how good the engineer was going to be if they delineated between tabs and spaces in their editor, like that they were curious enough to like figure out like, oh, is this spaces or tabs? There's the adage of if you have a non-traditional browser, someone will be better because they're curious enough to be like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, Firefly. What is that? Oh, Brave. What is that? Like, oh, what does that do? The curiosity is almost like a proxy for where their growth trajectory will be, right? The difference between junior and senior, when it comes to like, I think the ultimate is, so curiosity is the base core aspect that I think you have to have. But then what really separates is communications. The non-technical stuff, actually, usually senior engineers are just better at the non-technical things, like communications, prioritization, like EQ, empathizing, listening. Like there's these skills because in a more complicated development environment requires you to interact with a variety of teams and a variety of individuals. And so if you were just lone coder super person, it just won't work in a company of any scale, right? So usually the more senior has those communicate, like I would expect they're able to communicate, they're succinct, right? They're able to like explain complicated concepts. One of the biggest things is really hard concept explained simply is a really strong indicator of how much they actually know about that subject, right? And so, with technical, like, sure, there's always things like, in art, we give a take home and we have like a bunch of dimensions that we look for. Do they do tests? Does the thing work? Like, does it scale? Does it handle errors? Like, there's all these things. I'm actually telling you now what we look for. But, there's like very technical things we look for because we expect you, as you get more senior, you look for all the more faults and you understand where the thing breaks and where it falls down. Junior is like, oh, it works. It's good. But it's like, how does it handle errors? How does it handle that load? Like, what's it do with weird situations? Like, what about maintenance over many, many years? Like, there's those things that only senior engineers have seen and done that gives them that extra level.